Morning guys, and welcome to another class, another day in the classroom. So today I'm going to be teaching you about an Atwood. Last time I taught you about a Suburban furnace. This is an Atwood furnace, kind of similar but a little bit different too. This is model number AFMD 35131_A. The MD does stand for a medium-sized furnace right there, okay? Of course, let's go ahead and get our voltmeters out. Let's set them to V for voltage. Remember, if yours doesn't say AC, DC like mine, look at your symbols. There's a wavy symbol. The wavy symbol stands for alternating current. There's a direct line. That direct line stands for direct current, okay? And you got to be on V because we'll be checking voltage. So let me share with you a little bit about the wiring on here. Same as the Suburban. We have 4 wires going inside. We'll notice that we have a red, black, 2 blues. The black is my main ground. The red is my incoming 12 volt positive. The 2 blues, one of those is power up to your, in this case I have a Dometic air conditioner with a Dometic control board. So one of these blue wires is going directly to that control board, and the other blue wire is coming from our control board. Whenever we set our thermostat to heat furnace and it's calling for heat, that air conditioner control board inside will send 12 volts back on the other blue wire, and here's how that works, okay? So one of those blue wires, let me get this out of the way, it's right here, just piggybacked in with this safety cutoff switch, okay? Piggybacked in, that's sending the power up, okay? Because we have incoming power right here, that's sending power up. Out of this incoming power, we go to our power supply on our control board. If you can see that, I'm not sure, it does say power, okay? The other blue wire is coming down here, and it's double crimped in this terminal right here. So the Suburban, we remember they double crimped behind the furnace where you couldn't see. Same thing, spade connector. Well, that spade connector was connected to another spade connector, which was first actually going to our limit switch, but at the same time the air conditioner control board. This one goes to the sail switch first, but with that piggyback at the same time, it's also going back up to our 4-pin harness on our control board. I've labeled these for you. It is the lower one, so that incoming signal is coming to the lower blue wire on our 4-pin harness on this furnace control board. Once this furnace control board sees that voltage on this spot, on this blue wire, it's gonna kick that fan on, okay? It's gonna kick that fan on. That fan's gonna run for approximately 30 seconds. That's giving this furnace time to clear out any trapped propane inside of there, so there's not an accumulation of propane. It's trying to ignite quickly while shooting more propane, and you might have a big bang or some fire, okay? Once the fan begins to blow, of course we have our sail switch, right? So with everything in place, sail switch will close the connection. Remember, open line is no connection. Closing the connection is when you have pass through, okay? So this sail switch will close when the fan activates. Voltage will then come out of the top. We can follow this and see that it's going back there to our limit switch, okay? So we go to the limit switch. If the limit switch isn't stuck open, or if it's not too hot back there, and should normally be closed. So it should normally be closed, so the voltage should go to and through. That voltage is going to go to and through. We see on the 2 blue wires it's going back up. When it comes back up, it's coming to position 2, back on this furnace control board, letting this control board know, hey, the fan is blowing, I'm not too hot, the safety checkouts are good, go ahead and begin the ignition process, okay? So after that 30-second time delay, we'll see voltage come out of the control board on this red wire right here. This red wire is our positive for our gas valve, okay? Gas valve's a solenoid. It works off 12 volt positive and ground, okay? You'll notice that's why any of the metal in this is a ground that you can use. You have your main ground coming in, tying into a common ground right here, but also tied in to the metal right here. So all this metal is ground for this furnace. You can use any of it. As a matter of fact, that's why I have my alligator clip. I'm gonna hook on to the ground right there. Let's go up and get out the way a little bit. Okay, a couple of things that you might not know about this furnace that I want to share with you. First is, if the Atwood furnace senses that the sail switch is stuck closed, that means the voltage is immediately there the same time it's before it's kicked the fan on, it will not come on at all. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys real quick. Notice that our furnace does come on. All right, let me go ahead and kill that power. Now watch what happens when I already have an immediate connection. Okay, this is me simulating a sail switch that is stuck closed, so the voltage is going immediately through. Doesn't need the fan to blow, doesn't need anything. Okay, watch when I apply power now. It won't even come on, the fan won't even come on. Okay, I'm sharing that with you guys because if you have one where you have 12 volt down here but it doesn't even come on, that's one thing that you're going to want to check. Is my sail switch stuck closed? Do I have continuity even though my fan isn't blowing? Or if you've applied power, do I have 12 volt to and through without my fan blowing? Okay, so power is on. We see our green indicator light. Furnace will not even come on. Okay, it senses that sail switch is stuck closed. It has no way of knowing that the fan is operating. It's shut down shop. Second thing that I want to share with you guys is that location of that sail switch. Okay, the other thing that I want to share with you guys is that if you remember on the Suburbans, they put the sail switch up here on our main blower, which blows over our heating tubes through our ducts into our coach. Bigger fan, a lot more pressure. Here on the Atwood, they've put the sail switch on the smaller fan, which is for our exhaust. Okay, bringing in fresh air and getting rid of the exhaust outside of the coach. A lot of times I have issues with these. I'm not having an issue with this particular one. If you don't have the cover on and the exhaust pipe in there, there won't really be enough back pressure to make that sail switch fully close and allow that voltage back to our control board. So I know that usually when I'm doing my 4-pin check, I'll check on my incoming 12 volt and I'll see voltage. I'll come to location number 2 and I might see like 1 or 2 volts. Okay, well, if I know I'm dealing with an Atwood, I'm gonna go ahead and stick the cover and the exhaust back on and then try it again. Okay, for instance, let's see, this one's been doing great so far, but here's that 4-pin check. Got 11.1 volts to it. 11.15. It's gonna begin the ignition process. I will look for that. There's the voltage to my gas valve solenoid. It's ignited. Now it is not sensing the flame for same reason, right? That air is just moving too freely out of there. It doesn't have the back pressure to trap that heat so that igniter can sense it. You're gonna want to put your exhaust tube in. Notice that our furnace stays lit. The exhaust and that cover on these, because of the location of the sail switch and because of the way they do the igniter, you're gonna need those in to fully check that furnace. So guys, not a whole lot to these. Just remember, 4 wires coming in, main positive, main ground. So if I was going to check this furnace out, it wasn't coming on at all. Voltmeter set to DC. I'm going to start at this switch. Okay. I've got 13.23 coming to the switch. What do I have going through it? Nothing right now, right? But that's because I have the button off. If I had the switch on and I wasn't seeing voltage, well, I've got a switch that's stuck open. If I have it to but not through, I need to replace this switch. Okay, so we go through the switch. That's also the power up for the signal. We got our thermostat set to furnace. Checking the 4-pin. 11.18, checking the 4-pin. 11.19, 11.2, okay? If I was not seeing that voltage return, I'd want to come down here, check my cell switch. 11.2 in, 11 volts out. If I have 11 volts out and it's just I see the connection is good, the wire is good, I know it's going down there, I'll come up here and check. I'm not going to see that voltage. I will have to get back there. It's kind of a hard spot to get in. I think that's more because of my poor connection. Alright, but you see I have voltage back there. I could pull that terminal and check directly on that if I needed to. So to and through the limit switch, it'll be coming back to that board. If I'm seeing voltage return back on my number 2 on this board, and I never see this board do one of two things, if it never sends out power on my gas valve, then I'm gonna call a faulty board. If I have the same voltage across 1 and 2 on my 2 blues, my signal wires, and never get anything from the red, I'm gonna call a bad board. If I get voltage on the red activating my gas valve, but I never get anything from my igniter capacitor, same thing, I'm gonna call board. Now, if I'm wondering, is it my board not putting out a spark? Is it my wire? You can usually inspect the wire and see if it is got caught or cut anywhere near ground, okay? That doesn't happen so much in these. I've seen it a lot more in the Suburbans. I'm gonna get my needle nose pliers out. Be careful with this, guys. If you are grounded and you don't have electrical actually pliers, it will give you a nice little zap. Not gonna kill you, but it definitely will wake you up. So I'm gonna pull this terminal off. Usually, guys, the camera doesn't let the spark show. As always, I'll do my best to get in here and let you see it, okay? I just hold this real close while I look for that arc. If I see the arc coming from the board to the wire, I know my board's doing its job. I need to inspect my wire, my gap. I need to be looking inside possibly for insect nest. Okay, I can see that arc. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but I can see that arc, okay? So as far as the control board, I'm not gonna rule the control board out. I'm gonna rule the control board in, that the control board is doing its job. Never forget, guys, as we covered in the last video on Suburbans, we actually had one where gnats had gotten inside of our orifice and clogged it. Do a few things to check for that. I usually smell for propane, but when you have one like that, sometimes you'll smell a little bit of propane, but it won't be letting enough propane out to have ignition. You can typically look in the exhaust, and if you guys can see, there is a mud dauber nest in there, okay? So I know that they've at least been in the burner tubes, but the furnace is working, so I'm not gonna charge a customer and pull this out to clean or inspect my burn chamber, my burn tube, okay? Trying to think if I missed anything. The orifice, if you get to that point, you have to pull the furnace, check your gap on your igniter inside of there, check that it's not too close, because the ground it'll go directly to ground without creating an arc. Check that it's not too far, because the arc will be very weak. I believe it's an 1/8 to a 3/16 is what they call for. I typically will adjust them. Sometimes I have to get fancy with it, because that 1/8 to that 3/16 just doesn't work, and I will have to play with it and adjust it. Also make sure that it isn't directly where it's directly over that burner tube also, so that it can sense that flame. It's got to sense that flame, or this board will think, hey, I'm shooting out gas and igniting, but I've got no flame. Let me kill the gas, let me shut down. And like I said, guys, these are simple. I hope that we continue to learn together. I hope this video has helped you today, and let's continue to rock out.